Hello, welcome back. So, this is week 5 of the self healing method. So this week, we'll talk about heal, healing your feelings, right? Feelings that help you heal. So, remember, this is step 5. If you haven't watched all the other steps, please go back. The videos should be part of this channel. You should be able to find. And we always start with like a minute of really trying to interiorize our experience by being present, by leaving behind, at least for now, all the problems that you might be experiencing. So I want you to think about where you're at, what you're feeling right now, and leave everything that doesn't belong to this moment behind you so you can be present and work on your self healing. So, I want to remember everybody, particularly if it's the first time you are watching this video, is that this is not a replacement for any type of medical treatment or therapy or counseling. Make sure you follow any treatment you have right now or seek treatment if you need treatment. This is a process to really accompany whatever you were doing medically already. All right. So this week we have 6 weeks. This is 5, and we're gonna have one more video for next week, and then we'll be done with the 6 steps. It doesn't mean you'll be done, and you will understand this when you watch the last one, but we will be done uh, for the videos. So the first question that you may have in this process: can feelings heal? So really, you have a great opportunity to help your healing by educating your feelings, by trying to experience the most positive feelings you can in order to help your body really readjust and go back to balance. Because any illness, any problem really has to do with your body being out of balance. So you have to behave like you are your own therapist for this process. So during the self-healing process, you will be your therapist and you'll be also your patient. So that's why it's called self-healing, because everything is interconnected. Your feelings, your emotions, your thoughts, and they will really manipulate your success or failure. So you really have to be in charge of your healing in order to be successful. So let's try to differentiate a little bit between feelings and thoughts. So they can impact each other positively or negatively. What do you mean, you may ask? Well, if you have negative feelings at the moment, at that time, your thoughts will also follow that. You will have the tendency to, when you see something, let's say you're feeling sad and you see something, you are more likely, through your own lens, of your negative lens, to see whatever is happening outside of you or around you as something negative. Let's say somebody comes to you in a sad mood, you are upset or angry, and somebody comes to you and say, I cannot help you with this. And instead of looking, oh wow, this person is really nice, trying to help me, you may look and say, oh, this person is trying to get something from me. That's the only reason this person is trying to help me. You see, the situation is the same, but how you see the situation really depends of your own internal feelings. And the same thing with your thoughts. If you start thinking something over and over again, you will have the tendency to start feeling that experience. So let's say, for example, that something very negative happened to you while you're eating at a restaurant. And that situation happened, you finish, you left, and life goes on. However, at the end of the day, you go back and you start thinking about that situation over and over again, even though you might it had initially been positive. While you continue thinking that over and over again, you may start, let's say, being angry. Let's say when the situation happened, you were angry. So you start automatically feeding that anger because a thought that you keep repeating in your mind. So in reality, you are the one in charge. Of course, it's not easy, but you have to ask yourself, who has the remote control of your happiness? And this is a very challenging question because often we might believe that people are in control. Oh, they have done this to me, and that's why I'm angry. However, this is not the reality. The same situation may happen to 7 people. Some people will be okay with it, and some people will be miserable. And then let's give an example. So let's imagine that you have somebody who is really poor and somebody who is really wealthy. And the poor hasn't been eaten, let's say, for a couple days. And the wealth has a banquet every day during lunch. And then someone comes and gives a plate with rice and beans. If you give the plate with rice and beans to somebody who hasn't eaten for a couple days, this person will be very grateful and really send you a bunch of positive energy for the beautiful thing you've done. They give them a plate of food. If you give the same food to somebody who has been eating the rice and beans, a banquet every day, they're gonna look at you and say, "Wow, I don't like this. I have many, many better things here to eat." So do you see that in reality, the action was the same, but depending on the person and how grateful the person is, the results may be different. So if you are in control, you have the chance to change what is not working for you. When you give the control to somebody else, then you lose the opportunity to work on your own happiness. Because I can't change people. If I depend on people to improve my happiness, I will never be happy. Because I can't depend on anybody else to really achieve my happiness. So look your life today and how much power are you giving to somebody else in your life? Are you giving the remote control of your happiness to somebody else? If so, grab it back and take charge of it. And I want to give you an example of how your thoughts and your feelings can really impact your health, your healing, one way or another. So we had this Dr. Masaru Emoto, and this PowerPoint I have here have a link on YouTube for you to have a better understanding. So you can come back here later and watch it. So what he did, he had a research on water molecules, and he says this: water, in his research, the water was attempting to communicate something to us. Negative emotions prevented the water from crystallizing, while positive emotions allowed it to develop into a beautiful, hexagonal shapes. Now, think about this. He had little words by jars with water, like for instance, thank you, wisdom, truth, love, and other words negative, like you fool, or evil, or you make me sick. And then what he did, he grabbed a little bit of the water and tried to freeze the water. And and when he found out was this, the water that was connected to positive words were crystallized into beautiful shapes, while the water that was involved into the negative words, they will have like a very weird shape, and they were not crystallizing and not becoming beautiful. So now think about this. If our body it's 80% of water or sometimes more, and our thoughts or simple words can make such an impact in water based on his research, and you can read more about that later. What are we doing to our bodies when we are feeding negative feelings and negative emotions and negative thoughts? Think about that. Is this really helping you with your healing? Probably not. So you should really look into improving your well-being by impacting your emotions, your feelings, by exposing yourself to things that are positive. So your well-being depends on what you think and what you feel. And yet, emotions can be automatic, right? So you something happens and you get scared, right? So your adrenaline goes up and you're intense, you may start sweating. But those are temporary. They happen to you, and shortly you will come down again. Now, if you keep feeding that emotion or that thought, then those feelings continue growing in your body. And those will not be helping with your well-being. So think about that. What kind of emotions are you feeding daily that are really stopping you from achieving your self-heal? One of the ways to help you overcome this process, this negative process, it's by guarding your thoughts. Because feelings sometimes are very challenging, right, for you to change. But your thoughts, you can really replace negative thoughts with positive thoughts. And by doing that, as we addressed it before, your thoughts impact your feelings, and your feelings impact your thoughts. You can start really replacing anything that's making you sick with something positive. We will call this gardening your thought. The same way you have a beautiful garden, in order to keep it beautiful, every day, right, or often, you have to plant beautiful flowers and remove anything that it's not shouldn't be part of your garden. So if we do this with gardens, why aren't we doing this with our thoughts? So think about every time you have a negative thought come into your mind, you know, replace with something positive so you can create this healing process. One of the ways of doing that is by promoting forgiveness, right? Which something I want to tell you, forgiveness, it's not the same as forgetfulness, right? So you can't forgive without forgetting. As a matter of fact, I don't expect you to forget, because unless you have Alzheimer's or memory issues, you shouldn't forget. Because Not forgetting also helps you making sure you're not repeating the problem, but forgiving. And then I heard this move, the check, and I'm not sure if I'm saying right. It's SHACK. I highly recommend watching this movie. There's a moment that God is talking to a man who had a lot of anger and he couldn't forgive the person. And he explained that the difference between forgetting and forgiving. Forgiven, it's not having, and he said, your hands on the neck of the person. It's letting it go. It doesn't mean you will forget, but at least you are not building yourself into that emotion over and over again, because you are the first one to be impacted by that negative emotion. So when we forgive someone, it's really not about the other person, it's about us. So forgiveness also doesn't happen overnight. It happened to me, there was one person that for a long period of time, I was really holding a lot of anger inside of me. And I knew I had to forgive. So every day I prayed and I asked for help in the process of forgiving. And God, in this movie I just mentioned to you, said the first step is to say it. You say, I forgive you. And then you may keep saying it. And you may also look inside of yourself and analyze why it bothers you so much. What it is that is bothering you that you can let it go. Right? Sometimes somebody had done something major to you, like in this movie, was a person who killed his daughter. And I'm sure it must be very challenging to forgive. But what he did, he had to let it go, let God, right, or the power, supreme power, take over the process. And when he gave the process back to God and allowing the supreme power to take over, he no longer had the responsibility, so he could forgive. So please practice forgiveness. And when I say practice forgiving, you needed to also practice forgiving with yourself. Have you done things in the past that's hard for you to forgive yourself? If so, now is the time to start. You know why? Because here is a school, or earth, it's a school. And when the supreme power sent us here, he already knew we were at some point we are gonna fail. Because if he knows everything, he knows the past, the future, he already knew. And he already forgave us. So why not forgiving yourself? So practice forgiving, which is not the same as forgetting. You don't want to forget something that was not right because you don't want to repeat the same mistakes. But allow yourself the understanding that you are not perfect and you in a learning process, and from now on you will try doing better. Right? So this is a very important process. So you can also forgive others if you're not able to forgive yourself. So you have to start within. So cultivating your healing feelings. So what kind of feelings are considered healing feelings? Courage, self-esteem, hope, faith, enthusiasm, joy, forgiveness, right? Confidence, affection, caring. So Try to practice those feelings on a regular basis so you can soon start replacing those negative feelings with positive feelings. So, in order to summarize our step 5, remember, feelings and thoughts can hurt or heal. Make sure you garden your thoughts the same way you would work in your own garden, right? You will plant positive things and remove any feelings and thoughts that are really hurting you. And practice self forgiveness and the forgiveness of others. So, homework for this week, meditation and prayer, as always. You gotta do that every day. Do your journaling, get your notes, anything that makes you feel good, write it down. So later on, at any moment that you're not feeling well, you can go back and remember what you can do to make you feel good. Having strong positive connections with people and all those things. If you're getting this for the first time, please go back. Those are well explained in the prior videos, right? Practice tuning and listening to the supreme power. Garden your thoughts and practice forgiveness. And open your heart to really, really work and cultivate those healing feelings. Okay? This is our work for today. I am very proud of you for reaching out to this level. I'm really, really excited that you're still here. Next week's going to be the last video. Make sure you work the activities this week so you can work it next week too. And I'm very, very thankful for your presence here with me. I send a huge kiss to your heart and keep work on your self healing.